From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Experiences that echo across different cultures. That's the subject of an art show on display in Fort Collins. It's a collection of poems, letters, and photos of immigrants living in Northern Colorado who represent 38 countries. The organizers ask participants to write letters to their families or poems about what they remember from where they're from. And they say this year's show feels especially urgent as illegal immigration drives political debate during a presidential election year. Today, we share some of the writings with you. We visited the gallery at the Carnegie Center for Creativity to hear from two of the participants as well as the exhibit's curator. First up, contributor Diana Castro. Her family moved from Mexico to Fort Collins when she was 7. Now, 17 years later, Diana wrote a letter to her sisters about life as an immigrant.
To my sisters, I truly do not think I could fully express the love and gratitude I feel for you. It has been the honor of my life to see you grow into the wonderful woman you are today. As I write this, I can feel my eyes well up and my chest get tight, so I'll keep it short and simple. And I'll stop there because I will start crying. I feel very lucky to have had my sisters and my brother throughout this journey. Being an immigrant in this country is really, really hard. And I think I got so lucky to be so close to my family and really learn from them what it is to be a good person, a strong person. I have a lot of really big feelings about them and my parents as well. So,
did this experience of being a part of the creation of this, have an effect on you?
Oh yeah, I tend to not go into things that make me cry because I'm a crier. so it was really freeing for me to write it down, and everybody's been so kind. I think it was just nice to write things down. I think that was a very therapeutic experience for me. I can't say these words out loud, but maybe I can show it to them. Yeah. So it was really cool. That's Diana Castro. In the exhibit, her letter is accompanied by some family photos, including photos of Diana with her sisters. Next up, I spoke with the exhibit's curator, Bridget McAuliffe. She's presented art shows exploring themes around immigration in Colorado for 12 years. She said it's important to highlight the people who come from around the world to Colorado State University and other places in Fort Collins.
There are people from all over the world here just in my tiny network, and I wanted to do something for and about this community that visualizes that for people.
I think Fort Collins and Northern Colorado in general can have a reputation of not being very diverse. That's not really the case.
No, it's very diverse, but I think you have to cultivate it in your life. It's just not as evident as, say, New York City or, bigger cities. But as this exhibit portrays, this room is full of 38 people from 38 countries.
One thing that really stood out to me is how many people's reflections of home center around food and celebrations and family meals. What sort of common themes did you notice as participants wrote their poems?
There are a lot of common themes, and I think it's really important right now to think about that and to realize that. Some of the common themes are, as you mentioned, sharing a meal, sitting around a table, singing around a table, gathering in the kitchen, universal.
Totally. It reminded me of all of my holiday family gatherings.
And some of the other common themes are resilience, overcoming adversity. Almost every participant talked about their childhood memories, the innocence and adventure of childhood, again, no matter where you come from. Appreciating strong families and our ancestors and where we come from, how we end up who we are and where we are.
The topic of immigration has been a little bit of a flashpoint recently in the lead up to the election. I wonder if you could reflect on how an exhibit like this fits into this particular moment that we're in right now?
Sure. I do think, inherently it was part of why I wanted to do this in this moment in time. I feel like it's really important for immigrants to speak in their own words and to reveal who they are in a deep way. Also, I wanted to present in an exhibit how beautiful these people make our city and what they bring to our community, how they enrich our society. Immigrants work hard and they bring so much to our society and our community.
That's curator Bridget McAuliffe. She said she hopes to eventually compile the writings and photos from her exhibits into a book. And finally, I wanted to hear from a CSU student named Rukhan Sherzad. He goes by Rook. He and his family moved to Denver from Afghanistan when he was 12 years old. Like many of the participants, Rook created a poem on the theme of where I'm from. He read an excerpt for me.
I'm Rukhan Sherzad. I am from the worn hand-cave wooden door of my childhood home in Afghanistan. From the aroma of freshly baked bologna and the lively chatter of family meals, I am from the cherished memory of playing cricket with friends in the narrow street of my hometown.
Now, Rook, as your poem tells us, you are originally from Afghanistan. What brought you to Fort Collins?
I think the easy answer is the Colorado State University. I go to school here, but as of right now, I'm thinking after graduation, hopefully I get a job here and stay in Fort Collins after graduation as well.
I am curious if you found that this process of writing the poem and kind of reflecting, did that make you think about your home country differently?
Yeah. I think I never really thought about it really deeply, how my childhood was back there. It made me think a lot about like the fun I had there, the lifestyle, the family, the place.
Rook, I'm curious if you've shared your poem and what's been the response.
I think I shared it with a lot of my friends and families, and I think especially for my friends, I had a surprising response to me because they never really seen this part of me. So they were a little bit surprised. They were like, "Oh, Rook, I love your poem. It's beautiful." They were like, "I never know you could write poems." They're like, "I never know you could do this." So it was a little surprising. Yeah.
Maybe they'll say, you should get out of civil engineering. That's what you're studying, right? Just go to poetry.
Exactly. Yeah. I had someone tell me I think you chose the wrong major, man.
That's Rukhan Sherzad. He studies civil engineering at CSU. The exhibits, Hyphens and Hemispheres and Querida Familia, are on display at the Carnegie Center for Creativity in Fort Collins through this last weekend of September. Find more details in our show notes or at KUNC.org. That's it for us today on In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thank you so much for listening.